Hey everybody, Patrick Keller with Crestpoint Real Estate here, giving you a end of September monthly market update of what's going on in the real estate market here in Indianapolis. Hey, real quick, obviously we know that interest rates are going up and everybody's talking about it. What's caused all this? That's one thing that I would like to talk about today. To me, if we look back the last 2 years, our real estate market has been roaring, right? And really, I kind of like attribute most of this back to COVID. In March of 2020, our interest rates were creeping up to like 4.5-ish%, right? 5%, which was at our time a very like fair, not too cheap, but not too high rate, and people were happy with that rate. Well, when COVID hit, our government reacted and reacted very swiftly and very strongly. Okay? They started lowering interest rates very quickly to encourage people to buy homes. So they went from 4.5 to 3 to 2.5 to 2.25 to encourage people to buy homes. What's interesting about that is that we only really saw like a 2-week lull in people buying homes. It didn't really negatively affect it, but the government kept lowering rates. It's like they weren't seeing that the housing market wasn't really being affected. But they kept slamming rates down. Okay, that obviously made real estate prices catch on fire for the next year and a half because rates were so low and people could borrow money at a really cheap level, right? Also, what's going on with all of these rising interest rates? The government during COVID started to inject trillions of dollars into businesses that did or didn't need extra money in their paycheck protection programs and all these recovery programs. And when the government did that, a lot of businesses received tons and tons, trillions and trillions of dollars in cash. Also, people were receiving cash for COVID relief, and people started spending things, and demand went up, and demand went really, really, really high because people wanted things. They wanted to consume things. And so prices went up, and so inflation skyrocketed. Okay, the cost of the dollar was getting weaker, or the power of the dollar was getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker over this time. Well, now we're in this huge inflation situation where the Federal Reserve is now overreacting, much like they did during COVID, in my opinion. And we are now skyrocketing interest rates to discourage spending, to reduce demand, and then it's gonna obviously affect our housing market. It's gonna affect a lot of markets. So we've basically made the power of the dollar much, 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 much weaker during COVID and those times. And then here we are kind of holding the bag of all of that reaction. If there's one lesson we need to learn is that we as humans, we kind of figure things out, right? We figure things out, and overreaction sometimes can hurt us. And right now, my opinion is that we kind of overreacted during all this. So what's doing in the real estate market? Well, people are slower to buy houses now. If you have a listing, you may still have 7 or 8 showings on your listing, but people aren't writing offers on your listing as much if you are not priced accordingly. We have listings that have priced well and have not chased the market, but had the market chase them, and they're performing, they're selling. If you are going to the market and chasing the market at old prices, at old March of 2022 prices, you're going to have some trouble right now. Okay, so if you need to make a move, it still works. You can still get a great price on your home when you're selling it, but you have to price it appropriately. You can't price it 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 over the last comp like we did in the past. Okay, I do want you to think about this though, that if you do wait for a long time, our prices go down. I think our prices will start to go down a little bit as this continues. And that free money and equity that you've earned over time is going to diminish, okay? If you want to capitalize that free equity that you've gained so that you can win, you can still sell in this market. You got to price appropriately. Also, if you're a buyer, you can do a 2-1 buy down where sellers will buy down your interest rate for the first 2 years to a market rate that was very similar to 2020. So guys, there's a lot of options out there. This is a long form video, but I wanted to share it with you and talk about what I think caused all this. Personally, I'm not an economist, but what I think caused all this and then also how we can react to it. If you're a seller and you need to sell in this market, price your home accordingly. Don't chase the market, make it chase you. And if you're a buyer in the market, you have leverage now. Okay, you have power. You can get closing cost credit to bring your rate down. So this is a land of possibility. It's not a desert in real estate. Okay, I want to share that with you. Spread the word, and I hope that you all are doing great. We'll talk to you all soon, and happy Friday in September here on September 30th. Take care.